Hi, welcome. My name is Charlotte. I love colorful and sparkly makeup. This is going to be my final update for the makeup hanging on for dear life project that I started on my channel back in August. This was a collection of makeup products that were very close to being finished in my collection, and I set goals to finish them. I introduced the project in early August. I filmed an update in early October, which went up a little bit later than I intended. It's currently early January, so a longer period of time between my last update and now, but better late than never. I got some extra time to work on hitting some of these goals. I will leave the previous videos in this series linked below, but if you happen to be new here, my channel is all about loving and appreciating makeup without centering buying new things and while being critical of capitalism. If that sounds like interesting content to you, then I would love if you would like this video, subscribe, come back for more. I'm going to keep the most exciting updates for the end of the video, so let's start with a couple of things that I didn't finish. Starting with an old friend. You know her, you hate her, almost as much as I do. This is my ColourPop Super Shock highlighter in the shade Lunch Money. I've been trying to pan this for ages. As I mentioned last time, the pan barely ever expands, and actually for this update, I think it's shrunk. What happened was I pushed down the product around the sides a little bit because I was curious how deep it was and I just wanted to feel how much was there. And it caused the pan to shrink just a little bit. You know, that's always great for morale. I also believe this product is finally starting to dry out. After 2 years with a broken cap, it really did valiantly, but I think it is actually starting to go a little bit dry. I had this in other projects, so as I said last time, the numbers got a little bit fuzzy. I'm not sure if I tracked all the uses here in the correct place. But since the last update, I used this an additional 16 times for a total of 27 tracked uses within this project. But throughout the entire year, I used this 120 times throughout 2024. Alright, this next product I also didn't manage to hit my goal on, but I'm very happy with the progress. This is my Perfect Blend eye pencil from CoverGirl. You can see it's quite small. With another sharpen or two, I think this will become unsharpenable, and I am still using it. I'm not ready to give up on this quite yet. Since the last update, I used it an additional 17 times for 40 tracked uses total within this project. Another item I did not manage to finish was my NYX Soft Matte Lip Cream in the shade Los Angeles. I did decant this because I felt like I was having trouble getting it out on the wand. Turns out this is what was left in there. Basically a ton of product, like this entire little pot. Although I did mix in a little bit of Aquaphor in here because I'm more interested these days in like a lip balmy kind of finish, so I thought that would make it easier to finish. And also prevent it from drying out now that it's no longer in its super airtight packaging. So a little bit of this is bulk from the Aquaphor, but really there was tons left in that tube. And I have had that experience before with those soft matte lip creams. I think they just have like a really narrow stopper. So at a certain point you feel like you're getting nothing on the brush, but there's still tons of product. Or else maybe it does all get like backed up behind the stopper. I'm not totally sure. In any case, I'm nowhere near to finishing this up. So I'm just going to keep it in my collection, just keep reaching for it whenever I feel like it and not really worry about panning it in a super disciplined way. After I had decanted that and figured out that there was no way I was finishing it by the end of the year, I did cool off a bit on using it. So since the last update, I've only used it 5 times. That makes a total of 21 uses within this project. I have also been trying to finish my CoverGirl Skin Milk in the shade Fair Light. I'm also not quite done with this one, but you can see from the markings that I'm getting very close to the end. That top line is where I was at the last update, and the bottom line is where I'm at now. It's definitely the thickest part of the packaging, so it is going slower at this point, but I'm still making very, good, steady progress on this. I'm rolling this into 2025, and I expect to have this out pretty soon. Since the last update, I've used this 30 times, for a total of 48 times within this project. I was also panning another complexion product earlier that I focused on first, so by the first update I hadn't used this that much, but since the first update I've used it now 48 times, and that's gotten me quite a lot of progress on this bottle. Okay, now we're going to start talking about my successes and my empties. I'll talk about this one first because it's a success, but not really an empty. This is what my ColourPop lipstick in the shade Layover is currently looking like. I decanted it into a blush compact. I did basically wear this down to the top of the tube, and then I dug down in the packaging to decant it, and I actually mixed it also with a different tube of the same lipstick that I'd had in backup. So what you're seeing in this compact is that full backup tube plus what was remaining underneath the packaging in my tube that I was trying to pan in this project. So I haven't completely panned that specific tube, obviously, but now that it's in this blush compact, I'm not worried about panning it. I'm chilling out on this, and I'm just planning to reach for it when I feel like it. So in keeping with that, I've only reached for it 4 times since the last update, for a total of 33 uses in this project. But because I have been using this only as a blush for a long time, I'm happy to have those 2 lipstick tubes out of my collection, and pressing it into a blush compact has really made it feel new to me. It sort of duped the vibes also for me of something like the Tower 28 blushes, because I knew that I didn't need any more blushes, but this has sort of helped to keep that product fresh. I would have put it in an empty compact if I'd had one. I got a little set of 4, and I do have plans for the others for various Frankens and stuff. I don't have tons of empty compacts kicking around my collection because of how slowly I use up makeup. I did manage to finish up my e.l.f. Halo Glow Loose Setting Powder. This is completely empty. I do also plan to reuse this packaging. From the picture from last update, you will see that there was so little remaining. It was just dust. So I was kind of surprised to look back and learn that I had used it 13 times. Just that small amount remaining turned out to be 13 uses between last update and now. So that brings the total to 79 uses throughout this project to finish this powder, and I have since repurchased the same exact powder from e.l.f. I also finished up my Kaleidos lip clay in the shade Adobe. This was a huge accomplishment for me to use up a liquid lipstick, even though Kaleidos lip products have a little bit less product in them than your typical liquid lipstick. I really loved the shade of this, and I loved wearing it for a long time, but it no longer really suits my preferences because I'm leaning more toward sheer glossy things right now. So this was perfect timing for me. I loved using this as long as I did, and now I'm happy to have it out of my collection. Again, that had such a tiny amount remaining at the last update, but I mixed it with a little bit of Aquaphor to keep it usable because it was drying out once I decanted it. And I managed to get another 15 uses out of that mixture, for a total of 44 uses within the project. Last update, I had just a few more uses left on my CoverGirl Smoothers Concealer in the shade Light. I did not end up digging into the packaging of this, but once it became unusable on my face, I did use it with a finger just to wear it down so that it's flush with the packaging. And I'm pleased with that. I'm calling this an empty. That only took me an additional 4 uses. So I used this 43 times within the project to finish it. And so to recap you, throughout this project, I've managed to get 8 empties throughout the course of this project from a total of 12 items that I rolled into the project. 2 of those remaining items I do expect to finish in the near future, and then these other 2 are less realistic to finish, at least not anytime soon. But I still think that is way more empties than I would have had if I didn't sort of do this as a designated project, like as a concerted push to get these products out of my collection by the end of December. I think this is the majority of empties that I got out this year, which again, I don't use up makeup quickly. I'm very light-handed with makeup. It's nice to remind myself how many uses it really takes, and even when you're very close to the end of the product, how many uses are remaining in it. But it's also good to remind myself that I can finish makeup, that it's not impossible, and I still should be thinking about my makeup collection as something that I can finish and work through. You know, makeup isn't just a collectible to sit on a shelf, and I also don't think that we should buy makeup products assuming that we'll never use them up and that we'll just, you know, replace them when we're bored. So for all those reasons, I think panning is a good reality check. I'm not the world's best panner, but I'm very happy to have 8 empties from this project. Thank you so much for following along with this project. I have some other panning wrap-ups and plan to pans coming up on this channel, so I hope you'll stay tuned for those, and I will see you next time. Bye!